Alrighty. Hello, hello. I am on full dad duty right now. Here, take the watch. I know it. But of course he starts crying right as we go live. So we're gonna pull the baby up to us and everybody gets to see cute Harrison. But definitely a lot of thoughts on my mind right now and a lot of things to share. Regardless of who jumps in, whether you jump in now or later, just let me know if you're live or if you're here on the replay. I'm actually going to use this as a launching point to restart my almost dead podcast called the Generation RX podcast. Got a lot of good stuff there, but I think this topic of accepting the conveniency of nowadays, of the convenient things, um, is really good. And honestly, I've had a lot of really good conversations with people since the most recent situation with my wife going through what she has, or and how that's affected the family, and how just we're waking up and realizing that. And I don't want this conversation to be such a Debbie Downer on, say, medical things in particular, right? I don't want that to be the case. I want to, and I think a lot of us out there, a large majority of us, want to believe that there are good people doing great things for the right motivations or the right motives in job fields, in life, if you're on your personal front, your life front, and also within health and wellness, whether in regards of a health, within a job field or within your own, spectrum, right? We want to know that there are good people out there doing good things for the right motives. But unfortunately, say within the medical side right now, um, that's not always the case. And it's super frustrating sometimes, especially if you have a loved one, say in particular, like my wife right now, going through what she has, or is right now. It's very frustrating to look at something and be like, man, the medical field is really convenient because now we have these quote unquote doctors, and they're going to treat and cure and heal. And unfortunately, at least in my experience, and I have to be honest here that I have an individual bias that, due to my own prior personal history or family history, that I have a general, I wouldn't say strong distrust, but I have a wariness when it comes to the medical field. And again, that's not a knock on anyone that's out there doing it for the right reasons, but I have just seen more often than not through my own experience that I have a better chance of figuring it out and treating certain things in a more holistic, more natural way and getting a better result than trusting a pill or a procedure or anything else. And that's not to say that I haven't had to have my own procedures. Like, I have. Like, there's very obvious things that I had to get taken care of due to very obvious reasons. But outside of those, I just think there's a lot of better way to go through a process of elimination. And this acceptance of conveniency that I wanted to talk about is truly, um, at what point do we wake up and realize that maybe we as a society have slid too far on the spectrum, and too far on trusting certain, say, quote unquote specialists to take care of the problem for us or take care of the thing. And again, this can mean anything. This can mean cycling back. Like, this could mean someone in a job field. I mean, it could go as deep as, I've had car mechanics that would be like, oh, yeah, this is your problem. And then I drop, or maybe some of us have been in this situation, right, where we drop thousands of dollars on something with our car. And then it comes down to the problem was like a 15-cent fuse. That's happened to me. I spent thousands of dollars on an old car and on a previous car of ours. Fuel somethings, and then oil this, and imbalance here, and literally it came down to, oh, hey, there's this 15-cent fuse that burnt out, and now congratulations, you're stuck with the bill, right? And this can also happen with freaking, like, let me know if that's happened to you. Like, have you been in a frustrating situation where it's been like, holy cow, like, this was could have been easier done by just, I don't know, taking care of a small thing. Um, and then as far as health and wellness, the accepting the conveniency, like, at some point, how inconvenient or convenient are we going to say, like, oh, the drive-through is really convenient, or certain things at a grocery store that are stocked, like, oh, it's at a grocery store, right? That's really convenient. That should be good for me, right? No, like especially here in America, like what I just read a couple studies on is the FDA allows, I think it's at most of a 23% swing on how accurate a food label or ingredients have to be when it comes to certain foods. And that's extremely scary that the things that we trust to be conveniently in our grocery stores can be off by, at most 23%, right? And of course, certain studies go back and forth on that. Hey, Bob, there's a sock here. Whoa. Um, Probably most people are watching just because I'm holding a baby. So if you like the fact that Harrison's joining us today on today's live, say, hey, hashtag baby power. And so, yeah, the recent experience of like, hey, it's super convenient to just go to a local hospital. But then unfortunately, what I found is what I would say is like an 80-20% or ratio, right? Like 80% of the time, maybe you're going to have a good experience. And then 20% of the time, it's like, you're just not going to get the attention that you need. Um, and everybody might want to jump on the whole universal healthcare thing, which, hey, might have benefits and might have downsides. However, if anyone wants to look at, a great example or bad example, either way you want to look at it, of universal healthcare, look at the VA, look at the veteran, you know, healthcare and how we're taken care of. Like, dude, like what are we going to do? Like 70 or 80% of us not having a good experience. 20 to 30% of us, no issues. But when's it going to come down? When's it going to be like, hey, enough is enough. What are we going to figure out? Because in the end, like I said, there has to be a process of elimination. Like if I have a client that I'm treating and taking care of, then starting off the rip, like I'm going to get a medical part Q, I'm going to see prior history. And then as we keep working, and I'm pretty sure my son's going to pull my headphone cord out, but as we get working together, we're going to slowly figure out, hey, we think the issue is this. However, the underlying factors are actually pulling our attention into another area. And 9 times out of 10, that's right. Like 9 times out of 10, there's something else underlying that may actually be causing the primary issue. There's a secondary problem that is then causing the thing that we are most paying attention to, if that makes sense. And so, and just like a car mechanic or a doctor, like if my, again, going to use the recent example, if my wife is going to sit in a waiting room for 5.5 hours to see a doctor and get things checked out, then you, as a medical professional that is seeing and treating people, like I would expect you to do the due diligence, not just to sit there for 10 minutes and give your quote unquote opinion from looking at somebody, but actually be like, okay, like let's go through this process. This woman has been in here 3 times in the past 2 days. This is what she's tried to do. Okay, clearly it's not, oh, just keep the antibiotic going. It's, oh, hey, let's dive deeper on this. And even if that inconveniences you or some staff, like what do you want to be known for? I'm going to tie this back to a military example, right? Are you going to be known as just the leader, right? That is liked by everyone and is more of a yes man? Or are you going to be the person, guy or gal, doesn't matter, that gets something done? And maybe you're the hard nose, and maybe your requests might inconvenience somebody else, but it's with the intention of we're going to get this done and we're going to take care of this and we're going to make sure that this isn't going to be an issue for other people, right? As far as the end state, right? So when it comes to anything, it's like I think the ultimate thing that needs to be highlighted is why are you there? Like what, again, job field, your own personal life intention, or within a health and wellness scheme, why are you there? Especially as a quote unquote professional, right? So even for myself, why am I in the space that I am? Why is a doctor in the space that they are? We would hope that in regards to both, using myself and a doctor as an example, we would hope, right, that the overall intention is, hey, we're there to create as much value for the people that we see, create as much value and results and treatment as we can for the people that are going to come in and trust us. And we hope that in the end, that of course will make us money, right? Because we will be trusted because we can guarantee something to them. We can guarantee a positive outcome. However, there's a difference, right? There's a difference when somebody goes into a field and the priority and the primary motivator is money, right? Because in a lot of ways, we can see that when the primary motivator is money, every decision that we make moving forward is going to be based off, okay, what increases my bottom dollar? Yes. Is it, so that allows a bigger window for, say, big pharma to come in and make you an offer of, oh, if we put, nope, we don't want that. If we push this, we'll increase that. Or, for myself, if somebody comes in and they're like, okay, well, if you, all right, might catch fire for this one, but I'm going to use that as an example, right? If you tie yourself to whatever quote unquote health wellness labeled marketed MLM is out there, like you can take your pick, there's hundreds and thousands, right? Oh, you're going to see this increase, right? And so then my motivator becomes, okay, well, how many people can I get to buy into whatever product I'm going to push behind? And while there may be good things out there to help people and get people rolling on something, sure, if the end state is to keep them tied to or reliant upon, I guess that's a good way to put it, is anything that's pushed out there to keep you reliant on something long term, in my own personal opinion, is not the way to go. I think people will find very quickly, with a lot of anyone that's followed me for a while or has been involved in my coaching, I tell them off the rip, like, my purpose is to create as much value and to bring to you as much knowledge as possible that I have learned in the last 10 plus years and that I am still learning and becoming more efficient at, so that you don't need me, so that you can go on and that you can increase the knowledge for yourself, increase the impact for those closest to you. And then my hope is that that ripples out. Like, if I and those that share this mindset with me can get behind each other and push this forward of, like, we want as many people out there to become as self-sufficient, self-reliable as possible. Guess what? You're not going to need to rely on prepped meal deliveries, like things like, the only thing coming to mind is like Trifecta, right? Like just those meal delivery services. You're not going to need to rely on pills and detoxes and cleanses and supplements. And I'm lumping all of this in, right? Because we've learned how to approach this in as much of a holistic, natural way, because that's what ultimately our bodies on a biomolecular and even a macromolecular level respond to really freaking well. And it doesn't blow my mind, and at the same time, I understand. Are you really eating the wipes? Yeah, I swear, he's starting to teeth. And I think this leads really well to, I feel like we're finally at a point with the industry, especially the fitness and wellness industry, is we're finally having and seeing enough voices circle back home. And what I mean by that is we're coming back to realizing, hey, guess what? On a foundational level, everything we learned back in the 70s and 80s about fitness, movement, and basic macronutrition, and even micro, freaking works. We don't need to overmarket it. We don't need to rebrand it as something new and crazy. Have we learned more about genetically what our bodies and molecularly what our bodies may respond to most efficiently? Yes, the testing and the awareness has increased in that regard, and that's fantastic. That is a big win for the medical community. I'm going to give you that one, right? So that we can more further dial in and know what is most best for us. But we've gone so far, I'll just say left field with everything, that it's almost like we're going to break into what I hope is as a health and life revolution, that we're going to realize that we probably need to cycle back to, as much as we can, more what's called farm to table. And essentially meaning like things that are more naturally grown, things that are coming more from the butcher shops rather than the meat market at Walmart. I mean, we've already know that most ground beef at Walmart, we have no idea that expiration date may be a lot closer, if not already overdue, from the moment that thing was printed on that container than we think. And that's nuts, right? Again, quote out for the baby cuteness, whoever's liking this, as this guy chomps down on He just liked the textures. Yes. Um, but I really hope that there's going to be a medical revolution that happens, or a health, wellness, medical, whatever it is. And something I have really tried to reach out and try to get more contacts on is I would love it if someone locally or even around the medical community, right, a doctor that truly wants to treat and help their patients, like reach out to me. Like I would love to work with you. I would love to create a team and a network where like if you have a client that is having a certain specific medical issue that you know could be treated hand in hand with not only the medical but the fitness and wellness side, let's work together. Let's stop looking at I rant about this to other to colleagues of mine and clients I have. It's like it grinds my gears to feel like there's this like we're on a combative field against each other where well, I'm going to help my people, but not give them to you. Whereas on my side, I fully admit, like when there's a limit of expertise, I'm like, yo, we're at a point now where whatever's going on with your body, I need you to go see higher help because that's not my field. But all too often, we have doctors that feel like, well, I can, they taught us a chapter or two of this in med school. Like I can do this. Whereas like they don't have the time to do that. Like some doctors out there, you guys are slammed. You guys are super slammed. Like why should the expectation fall on you? Like, oh, not only are you going to treat this person, but now you're going to write them a meal plan. You're going to give them an exercise plan. Like 9 times out of 10, that's not in your purview. Like that's more than what insurance like that's doing way more than insurance is going to pay you. Jamal, thank you for contributing in here, my man. A little segue. Yeah, it's a joke sometimes. Yeah, we're here only for mini Blake. It's yeah, for sure, for sure. This could be called Dish with Marcel because that bro be talking that. Man, I'm calling it out because it's just seeing this happen time and time again, guys. I hate to just be this Debbie Downer on this, but I'm sick of seeing it. And again, it's if we were to tie this, not that I get political out here, right? I don't want to. Um, we see this in even the political field. Like, I sit back and I really wonder, like, why do we fight each other so much? And like this party versus that party. Like, I know there's foundational things that they may not wholly agree on, but 9 times out of 10, if you sat down at the dinner table with somebody, you'd find that probably within 70, 80%, there's probably a majority of things that you and an opposing constituent may actually agree on. So it would be crazy concept going with the trainer, like the health coach and a doctor combo on. How crazy would it be if somebody running for president, I don't care what party, your vice president is that opposing party. You want to talk about reaching across the aisle, setting up a network and showing the nation ultimate teamwork? Do that. Don't just talk about it, show it to me, right? Don't just go do backdoor deals. Don't just do that. Let it be in the open. I want to see true change. I want to see things really come full circle. And I just don't think we're going to be able to do that without more teamwork, you know? And, how's it going to happen? I don't know. What's the catalyst going to be? I don't know. I'm a pretty medium-sized fish in a pretty large pond, right? And I want to reach out and do more for people. But if we're not going to reach out and shake hands and make the conversation happen, because sometimes I don't know who to go to. I don't know who to reach out to. All I can do is put this message out there and hope and pray that somebody is like, hey, I know so and so. Maybe that would be great to link in with Marcel. Because again, what I get frustrated at too is I get these people that come in for consultations or just chat calls and see where they're at and see maybe some tips and tricks I can give them to get them on their journey, even if that doesn't end with a client. And this person may be honestly overweight and obese, but yet say, okay, well, when was your last doctor visit? Oh, it was this. All right, well, did they look at your blood work and your levels and all this? What did they say? Oh, they said I'm within good levels and just kind of like be mindful of X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, okay, did they not mention like, hey, you're overweight or you're obese, you're within the obese levels, and you need to be cautious because it's going to lead to X, Y, and Z? Well, no, they didn't say that. I'm like, look, ground one, I'm going to be completely honest. That's a red flag right there. I'm not saying like they were trying to dance around an issue, but everybody out there, like we are seeing such a rise in obesity and overweight rates in the unhealthy spectrum. Because for me, like my height, weight, standard BMI, like I'm technically listed as like overweight, right? But how I can perform and where my health ultimately stands, negates all that, right? So on the other side of the spectrum, like if you're going to continue to be acceptance of the convenience of what people are going to tell you, is that right? Say, yeah, speak that truth, Dad. Speak that truth. Um, um, it's like if you're just going to keep accepting that narrative, what somebody else is telling you, and not honestly admit that there has to be change, well, then nothing's going to change. Oh, no. What's the matter? Uh-oh. How am I going to fix this? How am I going to fix this? Boom. Watch. Yeah. So I might have to start wrapping it up soon. But oh, we got an avocado right here. I know he's tired too. So I guess to wrap it up, right, is we just bonked my headphones. But I feel like at a point we become too knowledgeable for our own good. And unfortunately that has led to us being almost almost too knowledgeable for our own good to the point where we've almost blinded ourselves to what truly needs to happen. And I might go into a part two, and maybe I've beat a dead horse at this point. But what I want to do is that I want us to find the specialist and the health professionals and trust them. I want us to know that we can reach out to somebody and there's a scale of quality that we can trust. But I think what we're finding right now is that there's a sliding scale of quality. So there's the flip side. There's a sliding scale of quality that we are receiving. And unfortunately, I feel like a lot of us are getting burned by it. So we're going to get to a point where a lot of us are going to be stuck where it's like right now, it's like, I don't know why that doctor wouldn't actually treat my wife last night, because I look at him like, dude, I pay a lot into insurance and my insurance is going to pay you and pay the hospital. So if you know that my insurance is cleared, then why wouldn't you step outside of what you typically, quote unquote, would do and just treat the patient and leave a great review and a great expectation of what, say, my wife and I can expect if we come to said hospital, which I'm not going to mention. No, I'll say it. Screw it. I don't care. Going to St. Mary's here in Jeff City, that we know that we can go to St. Mary's, and if we have you again, or if we have one of your colleagues, we're going to walk in and feel great, and we're going to walk in and feel trusted, and trust that everything is going to be done for us. He's right there. Look at that. Like how awesome would that be? How awesome would that be that you can know you can walk into somewhere and know that you're going to get a certain level and a quality of treatment? That changes the dynamic. It's like somebody like coming to me. They can look at the page or they can follow the dialogue of everything I've been talking about or showcasing, and they know like, okay, hey, if I go to Marcel with Phoenix Fitness, I know I can expect X, Y, and Z. I know he can guarantee results. I know that he helps people with their lifestyle fitness. I know, that I'm going to walk away after a minimum 90 days, right? Whatever. I'll just use the example. And I know I'm going to have as many tools in my back pocket to keep this ball rolling as best I can. And then if they choose to come back and want to get back on the train, then cool. No bad blood, no nothing. I did a job. You need more help. It's fine. But, there's, again, it's like we go somewhere expecting help because there's a doctor, quote unquote. And yet 9 times out of, I shouldn't say 9 times out of 10, but like what I'm seeing across the board with friends and family is, you're jumpy, is they're just not getting the treatment that they ultimately need. And now it's leading to people really looking at changing over and stop paying into insurance, and they're paying into HSAs or FSAs, I think I just heard. And sure, they may have to pay in a little more, but now they've got a fund and an account where they can go wherever they want. They can go to the holistic or the functional medicine doctor. They can go to, things that are not typically covered by insurance because they're actually going to get the help they need. And so I hope that situations like this, that more of us can speak up and connect and be like, yo, this needs to change. But it's not going to change if enough of us don't say something about it. It's like any other issue, right? Like it may not be the vast majority, but healthcare is a big deal. And if we want to see, like, again, like regardless of where you fall on like the universal healthcare issue, if we want to see that happen, well, then we need to set the expectations of what to expect, right? We have to be like, well, we can look at other countries and see how they do it and know like we don't want it that way. Or hey, we can look at another country, be like, okay, hey, 60% of this pretty solid. The other 40%, hey, let's look at this. How can we tweak it for the benefit of our people, right? And unfortunately, we have specialists, we have doctors, we have trainers, we have politicians, we have world leaders that honestly, some of them are just out it. Like I said, why are you there? What is your purpose? Are you there just to make money? Are you there for money and power? Or are you there to create value? Are you there to take care of people? Are you there to do all that? And yeah, sure, along the way, the blessing will be out of great value when you create it, money will come. You'll be like, my family's taken care of. We're good. We're doing well finally. It's all a part of the grind. But like once I shifted my perspective to just, hey, stop worrying about the bottom dollar, I felt really impressed. Like years ago, I was like, hey, man, little voice came in, stop worrying about the bottom dollar. I know you're stressed. I know you're worried about it. I know you want what's best for your family. But hey, guess what? Shift your perspective. Create more value. Continue taking care of it. Let that be your priority. I'll take care of the rest, Like I said, I love having the conversations that I've had so far. I think I've beat a dead horse at this point, but you know what? I'm gonna kick. If you've been with me so far, let me know. Like, hey, I'm with you. Whatever. Like #here if you're still here. At this far, whether you're on the replay or whether you're watching live, I don't care. And you know what? At the end of this week, yeah, Friday, I'm gonna kick a live training in my private group. About what we do about this. And what I mean by that is what we do on a personal level to combat complacency by taking actionable steps to succeed. So if you're down for that, if you're down to be a part of that live series in my private group, say #me, I'll reach out. I'll give you the link to the group if you're not in there already. And I'd love to have everyone a part of that. I'd love to talk about what actionable steps that we can take on a very personal level. And who knows, maybe Harrison Baby will join us again. Is that right? Is that right? You say, you do #me and my daddy will hook you up, bro. We're going to, bam, bam. This is probably the best baby we've ever had as far as how chill he is, right? All right. So everybody, this is Coach Blake and Mini Blake. We are signing off because I think this dude has had enough. And this is Mini Coach right here. She's been my ride or die in the gym for such a long time. There's old photos of her just following me around with an empty notebook, writing down sets, reps, weights, right? All right. Love you, Bob. Okay, guys. Thank you for joining. I'll be in the comments for a bit, but I got to get this kid probably down for a nap. But yeah, let me know if you want to be in on that training and we'll kick this off. See ya.